Hello, America, FBI and CIA agents, and fellow cult members. Welcome to Culture Club USA. I'm Dubrava, and today's riddle is love really a battlefield, or is marriage a war? Is dating just debating, or drawing battle lines after the score? Will she become a war bride, or an underbow captain's whore? Will he become a barbarian as blood washes red of the shore? Okay, in today's episode of OnlyFans on Trial, we'll dip in on yet another discussion where modern women inexplicably complicate the dating landscape. You ready? Let's dive in.
The door, and that's okay. Go find somebody else who wants to compromise, or who wants to like debate, or who wants to be like, well, I can do it on Tuesdays and Thursdays if you do it on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. No, that's not how it works. So there are guys out there that want things done a specific in a certain way, and women should do well to be within those parameters and those check boxes. If that's the guy that you want and the guy that you're truly interested in, you need to do everything you can to get on that guy's program.
So how do you find out what those things are that he wants?
Well, men in general are pretty simple. I mean, cooking and cleaning is always a good start, but you need to find ways to be useful to a guy's life. Think about what a guy wants to spend his time on, or what he actually needs to do and what he needs to allocate his time on. Usually it's like a career, or it's business, or in some cases, like it's even raising kids. So how do you lighten the burden and lighten the load for that guy to make yourself useful to his life? Like, a woman that will be soft and feminine and be pleasant to be around, because we talked about this before. A man's life is full of competition. It's full of not knowing where the next bill is going to be paid. It's keeping a roof over your head. A man's life is difficult and hard inherently. It's about competition. There's people out there. You've got all of these men that are competing for the same amount of money, the same women, the same jobs, the same businesses, the same markets. And it's a dog-eat-dog world out there for men. Men have to make themselves valuable. They don't inherently gain value just because of how they're born. That's the job for women. Women inherently have value. So the last thing a man wants is to have a woman that's going to compete with him, or is going to be any of this banter and this back and forth, or anything that's going to add any additional stressors. A woman should, if she wants to be with a man, needs to find a way to reduce that burden and those stressors as much as possible. And it's really simple, because men are really simple creatures. Be sexually open and adventurous, be useful, and add time or lessen the load when it comes to his life. And it really, like, women think I'm joking when I say this, but I'm being 100%. It's just being pleasant to be around, like being actually pleasant. The nagging wife and girlfriend thing, that trope exists for a reason, because it's like guys just want to be left alone for the most part. Like, most dudes are cool to come home, eat a nice hot meal, get his feet rubbed, get laid, pass out, and go to sleep. That's the dream for like 99% of men out there. We're such simple creatures, but women are like, well, he wants me to challenge him, and he wants me to push him, and he wants me to make sure that he's doing what he needs to do, or I need to, and you don't do it consciously, because you're like, oh, I need to make sure this is a guy that's worthy of me doing all this for. But women get stuck in this never-ending push-pull of competition and this and the other, and that's what turns those dudes off. And
actually, okay, everything he said was spot on. Okay, men are very simple creatures. It's very easy. Very easy. That's why you have some women out here, right, that can get man after man after man after man. Like, you can look at Jennifer Lopez or any of these older women like that and wonder, how does she get like all these 10 years younger? Because they understand what he's saying. It is so simple. They'll bypass the fact that Jennifer Lopez has slept with probably 100 guys. Who knows, right? Because how she behaves around them. She's not nagging, probably, right? In the beginning, you get it? Look, women that understand the mentality of a man. If you're out in the world, everything is a fight for a man. Everything is a fight. And what he's saying here is very important, because I'm talking to you ladies right now, okay? Any women that are listening right now, There is a huge difference between the push and pull on getting a man to commit to you and really just adore you and revere you and want to give you the world than competing with him. Get it? There's a difference. That push and pull is different. Men want you not to be easy when they're courting you, but they don't want you to be difficult once they've said, I want you. So you understand what I'm saying here? It's very important to understand that they don't want to live with a lawyer. They don't want to live with a nag. They don't want to come home from a work environment that they're constantly fighting the world at and be fighting with you. Things change. The dynamics of the relationship change. What you do in the beginning shouldn't be what keeps going and going and going. You don't want to be like, well, no, everything can't be this thing. Well, no. You understand? Once you're in a relationship with a guy, you have to understand what a guy wants. Get it?
A dude would just rather be like, look, I compete with guys all day. I don't want to come home to one.
So what happens when you do all those things, right? And it still doesn't work out?
That means something's wrong with you. That means you don't know what a guy wants, what a guy needs. Whatever makes him happy is what will be, and he'll thank you for it. Yes, he will. Hello? These women don't understand what guys want. Instead of that movie, What Women Want, there needs to be a film, what men want. Because women literally don't know. They don't know. The simplest things will get you so far. Like, you should never walk into a man's space and not clean it if it's untidy. Okay? Do you know how far that will go? If you like, even something like my brother, right? My brother's friends, one of my brothers, they're all in love with me. I'm just gonna say it. Everyone. And I'm like, nah, are you? No. Because I come in and I'm like, oh no, I start cleaning. And they're like, oh my God, she cooked for us, she cleaned. Bro, like your sister, man. Oh man, I wish I could find a girl like your sister. Yeah. Something as simple as that. Cooking and cleaning. Coming in and tidying things for boys. You understand? It's really simple. Really simple. Start figuring out what men actually want. Because most women, especially these modern feminist-minded women, don't know. They don't.
Well,
Welcome to
the
dating.
example you were
it's a tough game out there. I mean, there's no guarantees of anything. Yeah, but there's no guarantee. But what's the alternative, right? Like the alternative, but the alternative is what? Like if you want to be alone, if you don't want to date anybody ever, like you don't want to have kids, you don't want to have a family.
You have to keep trying. That's why I'm saying. That's why I go back to.
Right, but it's not about just keeping and trying. It's not just keeping trying. It's adjusting your strategy. It's finding out what doesn't work and figuring out what does, and then doing more of what does to give yourself the best chance.
That I've done and it hasn't worked.
Yeah, but Lauren, honestly, like, do you really think that's what it is? Do you really think that do you really think there's no fault or there's nothing that you're doing that turns guys off? Because I mean, I can tell you from the chat, I can tell you from my experience, I think you are a very masculine woman. I think you really want to be the head of the household. I think you really want to lead. I think you have a real problem of letting go and actually giving up, and giving space for a guy to tell you no and tell you what to do. You're really big on this compromise thing. You think every decision should be a joint decision. And I'm telling you, guys that aren't going to put up with that shit.
First of all, look at how she's dressed. Okay? Is she even dressed femininely? You can put all the makeup on you want. You can say you're not wearing all the makeup you want. But if you're sitting here with a sleeveless tank top on or a denim, man's shirt with some cleavage, I mean, that's feminine. Do you think a guy is attracted to that? Do you think these girls that show up with tank tops every day? Oh, yeah. Who wants a girl in a tank top? No, I'm being serious right now. A tank top, okay? Like we just came in from running or we went to Ann Taylor and got a tank top. Men don't like that. They don't like that. They want femininity. Okay? You have to present yourself in a feminine way. And most guys would be more curious if you're more covered up so they could see what's under it. You understand what I'm saying here? Does she even seem... Look at all these girls. Look how they're dressed. Look at this. Do any of these women look feminine? How about we start here? Okay. Forget about the makeup. Most of these girls spend way too much time trying to fix their face when you don't even know how to dress. You don't even know how to properly, make your hair look a little feminine. Flirt. You understand? We need to bring back etiquette school. That's what we need to do. All right. And now here is actually the perfect idea of a female for a man. Okay. You're feminine. You're not a whore. You make them work initially okay. You get a ring. Then you do whatever but the first thing that has to happen is attraction. Once you have that attraction, and everybody knows what attraction is, okay? Then it has to be conversation. If the conversation goes really well, you're in a good place. Now, if you're feminine and flirty at the same time, without showing everything, okay? You're golden. But if you show up with tank tops on and looking like, let me just look like my grandmother's, like I'm going to don't dress like you're going to an office because you work for a lawyer. Okay? Don't wear girls need to get rid of tank tops. I'm serious. Now, if it's beautiful sleeveless dress, something like that, fine. But what are these people wearing? What kind of clothes are these? And it doesn't have to be expensive clothes. Femininity. We've lost it. Okay? Just a little tip for you women out here.
Guys that make decisions for a living are the kind of guys that you want that also are, because the guys you're going for, let's be clear. We talked about this before, but the guys that you're going for, the ones that can just swipe and have a new option, you're talking about a very tiny, small percentage of men out there. You are fighting with the vast majority of women. You are competing with a very small percentage of men. So a guy who has those options is not going to put up with bullshit. He's not going to want to argue with you and fight with you. He's not going to say, hey, I want this done on this day, on this time, and here's how I want it done. He doesn't want to have a fucking argument with you and compromise on how things are done. A guy wants to run his relationship like how he runs his household. But you say that, but I don't get the sense and energy. The energy that you give off versus the energy that Maham gives off are completely different. Soft, feminine, quiet versus, and I'm not trying to pick on you. This is just my observation and people in the chat as well. And I think a lot of this has to do with your job and your career as well. Kindergarten teacher versus corporate woman. You have to exhibit these competitive, domineering traits if you want to get anywhere in the corporate world and the corporate life, because that's what it takes to succeed. And that's why men are generally far better at it, or they're generally further along, or they're in higher positions because they're more built for it than women generally are. So
but I'm not
I know
I'm
you
not like this in a relationship though.
But there's no way that that's true, Lauren, because it's not just
you can ask my
That's like Megyn Kelly sitting here saying she's not the boss man in her relationship. I mean, come on. She's a good example. Tank tops. Look at the presentation. Okay, this is it. Oh, okay. Come on, no, Matt. This is your husband at night. No, Matt. Okay, women should be feminine. Okay, no, we should have jobs. Who you? The Jesus of the. You see what I'm saying? Who wants that? My God, it's like, men. I mean, you just want to run away and look the other way, like, you know what I'm saying? Women have to understand when to shut up. You have to know when to shut your pie hole. Get it? And you know what? A man doesn't need to know everything either, okay? You don't need to tell him exactly how you feel about every little thing because you're in leave it alone. Let it go. Walk away. Go for a walk. Give him a space. I mean, you're going to tell me this woman is anything but masculine? Look, just because you show cleavage does not make you feminine, okay? I'm sorry. Presentation is everything. How you dress, how you look, how you present yourself is everything. It's everything. That's why you don't show up to a job interview as a man, okay, at a firm or wherever wearing a tracksuit. Okay? It's the same thing. Presentation. We've gotten to a point where women don't know how to dress anymore. This is absolutely out of control. Seriously, there's a time for a bikini and a bathing suit, okay? And there's a time for a dress. Okay? Know when to do when. Know when to do when. What? Whatever.
You can ask my
because
ex.
it's
You can talk to him.
but he's an ex for a reason, isn't he? Like, it's not just a switch that you can flip off. How you are
No, it's when I'm
40 hours
comfortable
of
around
the
a man,
week.
I'm much softer. I'm much.
But that's the
much softer when I'm-
problem.
But that's not who you are. Okay, it doesn't flip flop. You're not just one way here and one way. And do you think that, like, you know, the head of Vogue, that woman, Ann Wintour, is the head of Vogue, and then she comes home and she's, "Hi, honey. Yes, dear. Would you like that?" No, it's just how you are naturally. It doesn't work that way. If you're this, then you're this, and that's what you are. And you went to college, and I have 5 degrees, and I'm smart, and and like he's saying, there's a huge difference between a kindergarten teacher or a librarian and a boss babe, you know, that runs a television station or that was on a big, you know, ABC or NBC and sat, you know, did all this stuff. Okay, no. In order to get to those heights, okay, if you're getting on any of those shows, okay, you did some things. You did some real... Okay, you went through that door. Nobody gets on national TV like that and didn't go through that door. That's why I'm here. I wasn't willing to go through any of those doors, okay? You're dirty. You're dirty. You stank. We see through it. You can't just get on all these shows, The View, ABC, all this crap, okay? Sitting amongst Whoopi Goldberg and say you didn't spread it, okay? No, you did some dirty things. Fox News. No, you didn't get on Fox News, okay? And is it ABC or whatever? What was she on? ABC? Yeah, whatever it was. Megan, okay? You're not going to get to those heights and then just say, "Oh, I took down Roger, yeah, but I didn't do no dirty stuff." Girl, you're dirty. You're dirty. Because this industry is dirty. YouTube is dirty. YouTube is dirty. They throttle people all the time. I'm throttled. I don't complain about it, though, because I like what I do. I just have fun. Don't get me started.
Just said but that's the problem. Your
What makes you
femininity.
comfortable?
Hold on, Spence.
Somebody who's safe.
Hold on.
Go on, Muff. Go on.
You are now telling us that your softness and your femininity and your willingness to let a man lead is conditional, right? Being feminine is not conditional. Being masculine is not conditional. What happens if a guy walked up to you and he was like, "Hey, I like to wear high heels on the weekend and wear dresses and makeup until I'm with a woman that makes me feel comfortable in my masculinity, and then I'll take the lead and I'll start getting shit done." You'd laugh that guy out of the building.
Right.
Well, she was married to him right there in South Carolina. That woman down here in the lower corner, okay, with like the purple or bluish shirt on, right? She had an arranged marriage, okay? She wasn't a virgin, okay? Supposedly, she doesn't know how old she is, doesn't know what country she came from or whatever, okay? There's a lot of confusion going on here. She's in America now, but she had an arranged marriage with a gay man, has an 8-year-old child that lives with the gay man in another state. Okay, you understand what I'm saying? What he's describing right now is her ex-husband.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a full-time gig. This idea, it's like, well, I will be feminine and I will turn on this feminine character only when I'm comfortable, then and only then when I'm comfortable. And that's a hurdle that you're essentially making a guy overcome. He's got to now jump through all these hoops, and he only gets the best of you after he's been like and I'm being a bit facetious here, but the point stands. When he's done all these things and when he has to lead and do the right things off the bat for you to give him that same thing back. And I think, go ahead.
I have a question
please.
for you with this.
Yeah.
What is the difference then between a lot of men want a confident, independent woman, right? They find
They're
it
liars.
attractive.
No man wants a confident, independent woman. Okay, you're confused, lady. What men want is a good mother. Okay, somebody who's confident in raising their children and keeping a tidy house and cooking and cleaning and keeping order in the home. But you're saying a confident, independent woman, that means a boss babe. That means Megyn Kelly. Okay? That means Jillian Michaels. She's another one. Really? So I love it how everybody's just coming over to a conservative space now after they done did everything else. And now it's not working so well. And so here we go to come over here. I mean, so you got kicked off these networks and now you're over here doing, and look, when you're a real boss babe, look at Megyn Kelly's most successful. I mean, she's setting the standard. She's actually changing the narrative right now. And it's very dangerous. It's very dangerous what she's doing. because it's actually very feminist. It's very feminist. You can't be a boss babe and run a network and be in charge of all that and be in charge of men and whoever else and consider yourself traditional. Okay? It's not possible. Seriously.
Liars.
So they don't want a woman with
Either
confidence,
that,
who walks with
either
confidence,
that,
or walks into a room and has confidence.
either they're liars or they're severely lacking.
Right?
No, but either I think they're lying or they're severely lacking. But I think the popular thing, this boss girl sort of archetype that we've seen with the rise of feminism, a lot of women are like that. And especially, like, I mean, look, if I'm on a date with you and you're like, yeah, I run like 2 or 3 companies and, you know, I got all these responsibilities and I'm trying to get laid, I'm going to tell you that I love boss girls. I'm going to tell you that I love boss babes. I love a confident woman that can command the respect from any guy in the room, because it's like, well, I'm not going to take this girl seriously. I'm not saying you particularly, but I'm saying in general.
Yeah.
It's just like, you know, like I would definitely tell you I like that. This is, but what you see, it's like those things generally aren't adding up, and the polarization doesn't work out in the end. Like it's men that are honest don't have much of a chance in dating. Most men that are being honest don't have much of a chance. I love when women say like, oh, well, just be honest with me. Tell me you just want to sleep with me. You're not really interested. And it's not so you'll reward him for his honesty. It's so you can tell him, hey, there's the door. Thanks for telling me you only want to bang me. Now you can leave now. Not like, oh, I'll reward you for your honesty.
See, women overvalue sex. That's a huge problem. You have to, you know, I'm not saying, you know, you got to be good in bed. Okay. But there's a lot more that goes into why a man chases you, why they want you, why they want to lock you away. And that's what you want. Trust me. You want a man that wants to take you and hide you and lock you away. That's what you want. Because that means he's obsessed and crazy about you. You understand? If you don't have that, you don't have nothing. Okay? If you don't have a man that actually loves you a little more, you have nothing as a female. And the problem with females is, and that's why college is the worst thing a girl could do. I didn't go to college. Thank God. Thank God. Thank you, Dad. Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Dad. Okay? College turns women into whores. Because what it teaches you during that time is that, well, if I'm good in bed and I sleep with him, he'll just want to keep sleeping with me. But there's too many women that are good in bed. He'll just find the next one. It doesn't really matter. You understand what I'm saying? It takes a lot more than just sex to get a man to be crazy over you. You know what I mean? You know how, like, there are guys that are still crazy about you that you never dated, never did it, that are from like 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th grade, from high school, that still want to marry you. Go back home and they're like, oh, how are you? How's everything? You know, are you your husband? You know, you know what I mean? Because it's a thing that women have, and mothers instill that in their daughters. That's my mother. Every man wanted to marry her. She had the pick of the litter. Okay, my father actually realizes that he's lucky, but my father has real good game and a lot of other things going on. When my parents got married, my mother had a brown bag. My father had a house waiting for her on their wedding night that she didn't even know about, okay, that he built. Like, there is different levels to this. Women today don't know how to get a man to do that. You understand? Women don't know how to be so seductive and such a feminine female that men are jealous. If your man is not jealous when other people look at you or anything, you got problems. That means he's not into you. Okay? That means he's Bruce Jenner. Or he has somebody on the side.
So that's and again, it's hard. There's no perfect answer to it. It's tough. That's the dating world. Like but
I mean, it's like
coming
general,
into
you have to make money as well, you know?
I agree. I don't disagree. But I think the problem is that I think the idea that you're withholding this femininity until like the right buttons get pressed.
Hold on a second. Women have to make money. Okay. First of all, my mother didn't leave the house until she was married. That's when she left the house. You don't have to make money. That's a feminist trait. Go to college, get a career, do all these things. You don't have to make money. That's a choice. You could stay home and at a very young age find a husband. You chose to take a different path. You wanted to make money and have a career. You understand the difference? Even if you're not even middle class, even if you don't come from money, you grew up in a house, your mother's kicking you out. I mean, maybe there's certain situations like that, but you don't have to go to college. You could find a husband.
Like the right buttons get pressed or the right signals come. I think that, and you got to be vulnerable and you got to be honest.
As soon as I go on a date, I'm more feminine. I'm softer. If I'm in a setting is what I mean.
Buy that.
Of a date.
I buy that. Especially you.
And you're a fraud. That's the point. You're a fraud. I'm sure Megyn Kelly was real feminine on her dates with her husband too. Maybe not, but I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Could be a soft male on trial there, but I'm not going to say, much more there. But what I'm saying is you're a fraud. So you're feminine on the date, but then you become something else. Like, what are you? Like a shapeshifter? Or like, what? I don't get it. Who even says something like that? Hopefully she's not hoping a man is going to message her or DM her after this episode, because she's probably going to have to go in a whole other direction.
A question.
Yeah, I was just wondering, because you said you will become feminine once you feel comfortable around a man. But what makes you feel comfortable? What is that barrier?
I guess what I mean is, like, I'll always be feminine and soft when I first meet a guy, right? Just because I'm meeting a man and I'm a woman, right? So there's that instant reaction. Okay. But to be like I guess, less guarded version, is what I'm saying. I have to feel safe around you, because at the end of the day, men are a threat to women, either which way, physically.
What is she talking about? Guarded? Why are you guarded at all? You're guarded because you're hiding stuff. That's why you're guarded. Guarded? What? No, men don't want guarded. Men want innocence. Men want honesty. Or at least they want to feel that way. These women are so off. Oh my God. We are in a sad state of the world here.
Physically, you are always a threat to us. You are.
Largely overblown. Incredibly overblown, to be honest.
We are the lesser. When it comes physically, we are the lesser sex.
I agree with that.
There's no argument about that. So there's always going to be like a small part of you that's, wants to feel safe around whoever it is you're dating, especially if you're alone. So if I can get a consent right off the bat, then yeah.
What is it that makes you feel safe?
I mean, I guess how somebody behaves around you.
Is this something that can happen on the first date, or is this something that you need to be around them for a few weeks?
No, I think first date you can pretty much tell how somebody is.
Okay, so can you from the first date still be like drop all those barriers and be truly feminine?
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Gentlemen, you have problems out here. Okay, any of you single boys, I'm praying for you. Okay? I am literally praying for you. Go to a church. Okay, go find a girl in a church. I'm serious. With a family. Don't ever date a girl that's not close to her family. Okay? It's usually a huge red flag. All right? You can, if you're actually looking for what this gentleman is describing, right? Make sure the mother is close to it. You get what I mean? Because normally if you have a mother, you're going to end up with something close to that with the daughter. You know what I mean? I just can't. Some of these conversations are mind-boggling. These women actually are just clueless, and they've been brainwashed to think that men are bad, men are a threat. How are a man a threat? Anytime I'm in a situation, which is very, very, very rare, that I'm not with family or something like that, I'm always looking for the biggest, strongest man that I don't know at all, okay? Right? Like on a flight, which I have flown very little in my life, very, very little. And it's very rare that I'm flying like without my dad or something like that. But in an instance where I'm in a situation where I'm not with like my father or my fiance, whatever, I'm looking immediately for the first guy. Literally, the biggest guy, the strongest guy that can save me. It's just like the thing you do. I don't understand why you are afraid of men. I mean, what man is she talking about? An illegal Mexican warlord migrant walking through the New York? And what are you doing? And what are you doing walking in the park alone? Or like, none of this makes sense. It's that whole bear over a man thing. This is just stupidity. Okay. And it's excuses because these women know what's wrong with them. Their instincts, they don't want to change. They don't want to change. But times are changing. Things are moving. Things are shifting. So who knows? Gentlemen, I hope you guys had fun today. Ladies, I hope you heard what I said. Dress femininely. No sleeveless tops. Get rid of the tank tops. Throw them out. Okay. If you're not in the gym, throw them out. I'm Dubrava. I will see you on the next one. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Take care.